All right, so let's just talk about it. So, this is just a raw reaction because just about 15-20 minutes ago, I was just on a Discord and I saw someone post that now Drake for the Australia show, the Anita Max Win tour, is basically banning Kendrick Lamar or PG Lang merchandise showing up in the show. If you're wearing it, you're basically kicked out. If I am a Drake fan and I'm paying $150 to $300, I'm wearing whatever I want, but that's besides the point. But that's what is kind of fueling this moment right now. The last video I did was on the Heart Part 6, which was in YouTube terms ages ago. And the fact that we have escalated this far is absolutely ridiculous. So, of course, we had the petition that was basically saying the streams on Not Like Us were botted out the wazoo and that needed to be investigated. Although when Drake's Scorpion came out in 2018, there was meditative jazz and hyperpop playlists that had Scorpion all over them. So the complaint about Not Like Us having botted streams, but realizing Drake probably had it too, probably made that kind of petition be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't go down this route and we're just going to hold off. And Spotify basically wiped their hands of the situation and basically backed out of the beef and backed out of this legal thing and basically said, you could do whatever you want. But there was no reply from UMG, mostly because the next day there was a formal lawsuit, a defamation case, against UMG for Not Like Us, with the basic rundown being that UMG used all of its assets, all of the weapons in its arsenal, to make Not Like Us become mega viral, to be a massive hit. And there's a lot of things saying as well that people don't really like the song as much as they do. People are being paid off to love the song. Reactors are specifically mentioned, saying that they were overreacting when the song came out. I can remember when all of this happened, when all of the tracks came out, especially considering that you had Family Matters first, which was insane, multi-layered, really deep diss track that went hard, with the production, that went hard with the lyrics, and went hard with the accusations. And then an hour later, to have something as menacing and as demonic as Meet the Grams came out an hour later, I was going absolutely insane. And also, I was extremely tired because, man, Meet the Grams is one of the most soul zapping diss tracks of all time. It is so brutal. And then just 12 to 24 hours later, you have Not Like Us, which is the banger of this beef. If I'm a reactor, which technically I am, but I wasn't on like live stream or anything like that, I don't blame them for going insane. This is one of the biggest moments, not just of rap history, but music in general. This is absolutely monumental. So to say to them, to reactors, that they are overreacting and they were paid by Top Dog or paid by PG Lang to overreact is absolutely insane. Not to mention, too, basically saying it's just like you really don't like the song as much as you do. I don't know if you have seen The World, but it's getting played at baseball games. There was one time I was at an Ottawa Senators game, which is just out of the middle of nowhere, out in the sticks. All we listen to is country music and drink beer, but Not Like Us was playing there too. It was mentioned in memes. It was mentioned on Inside NBA. It was all over the place. So I don't know what rock you're hiding in to see that Not Like Us was a global, massive moment that continues on. And it's not because Kendrick is pushing it forward. It's because of you pushing this lawsuit and pushing this narrative. And the lawsuit also goes into the lyrical breakdown of how defamatory it is. Two of my favorite moments from this defamatory lawsuit are when it says that Drake is a colonizer. Drake decides to completely negate, or his attorneys or whoever decides to completely negate the mentions of Atlanta, 21 Savage, 2 Chainz, Young Thug, Little Baby, and basically take the diss and make it something of being anti-Semitic and about Drake being Jewish. I never in my entire time with this beef have ever circled around to something that ridiculous and that insane. The other one was when obviously the wop 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 wop, and Drake just takes that little particular onomatopoeias and says just like, man, Drake's gonna beat me up, it's over, Drake's gonna kill me. And like taking these little jabs and these little disses and deciding it's just like these are defamatory and I'm going to sue over this. There was also a mention of the hopscotch thing in the music video. There was the mention of the shipping containers of him basically doing human trafficking. The funniest part of this entire thing is that with the lawsuit, it is the best breakdown of the video and the song you could ever find, because there is things that I would have never thought of. The shipping containers in the music video of Not Like Us, I would have never tied together the human trafficking part of it. But now that I see that, that is both really funny and also either it's an accidental or intentional attention to detail, and that is hilarious. Basically, the lawsuit is doing the legwork for Kendrick to show of how calculated and how meticulous and how brutal this sequence has been. So there's that. But Drake is just going out so incredibly sad, and it's getting to a point where I just I can't mess with Drake anymore. Like, it's getting to a point where I may just cut off Drake cold turkey. Of course, like in playlists and stuff, Drake's going to show up. And I still have vinyls and I still have CDs. But man, the songs are just not going to hit as much as they used to. And to use these diss tracks and to basically what Drake is doing, this moment in hip hop and this moment in music is the biggest thing that we have ever seen. And if Drake decided that he would hold off on the lawsuits and just kept it to music, I think Drake with time would have came out the other end and would have been just as successful as he was before this beef started. I can think of Scorpion. When the story of Adidon dropped, it was very much a brutal diss track, and it really just made Drake completely vulnerable. But then he released Scorpion, and Scorpion is his biggest album in his discography. When it debuted, it was everywhere, even though probably some parts of it may have been botted, but the album was absolutely everywhere. And I think Drake could have, especially considering the scale of this thing and the grandiose nature of two of the biggest rap titans of our generation going at each other, if we would have given Drake 1 to 2 years to drop a project, I think he would have came out fine, although a little bit scarred. But the fact that now we have decided to go the most disgusting and brutal route possible of going into lawsuits over rap beefs, where, keep in mind that Drake, I used to watch battle rap about 6 to 7 years ago. I would watch King of the Dot all the time. King of the Dot is very popular in the Toronto area, and Drake, I remember watching a video that Drake showed up physically to one of these battle rap videos and one of these battle raps going on. And he also, Drake says in his barbershop interview with LeBron James that he studies battle rap meticulously and he studies it as much as possible. So to realize that Drake knows what's going on with rap beefs, and he knows that a lot of the times in rap beef, there are no holds barred, there is no rules, there is no regulations, there's no lines. You just do anything to completely demoralize and ruin the opponent that you are facing. And so the fact that Drake is deciding is just like, we are not going to go down this route, not only destroys rap beefs like this rap beef now, it's now going to completely destroy rap beefs going forward. That may be a very out there take, and maybe a very hyperbolic take, but what basically Drake is doing is just like, this will be the last biggest beef that we'll ever see. Because if we have another combatants of titans, If we go like 10 or 20 years down the road and we see something this massive again, I don't think you're going to have rappers going as hard as Drake and Kendrick were, because if this defamation lawsuit goes through and Drake happens to win, sure, Drake may take it as a W, but in reality, if you look down 10 or 20 years down the road, we will never get a rap beef of this magnitude ever again. And it's not only hurting the rap culture and hurting music going forward, it's ruining free speech as well. Basically, what an artist will have to do is just like, man, this person is getting at me. This person is dissing me, but now I have to tiptoe, because if I say something one line out of line, I may get a defamation lawsuit, and it may completely destroy the career that I am building. And Drake said that this is not about the rap beef. This is for the artist, the struggling artist, just trying to make their way into the music industry to make a living out of this thing. But in reality, this has all come down to Drake's bruised ego, and he's trying to salvage just at least 5% of it. It's terrible to witness. And Drake, not to mention too, he signed a document in 2022 when Young Thug was in jail, basically saying that rap lyrics should not be used in court cases. And look where we are, but almost 3 years later. We are in the situation that Drake has mentioned that is not a good thing, because now that it's happening to Drake, now it is a bad thing, and it must, Not Like Us is a weapon, and it must be destroyed. Sure, Meet the Grams was brutal. Not Like Us does have some brutal disses in it, but I think it's more playful than Meet the Grams is. If I was to play devil's advocate, if Drake decided to sue over Meet the Grams, there would be a slight part of me that would say, you know what, that was the most brutal diss track of all time. If you did feel some type of way, even though I think you're a goober for doing it, I think that Meet the Grams going after that route would make more sense than going after Not Like Us. That's kind of my rundown of what the heck's been going on. I can't listen to Drake music the same. There are lines now, not just in these rap beefs that are aging very poorly, or these rap kind of diss tracks, but there's even songs going further in his discography further back that also do not age well. And then, not to mention too, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, it's got me so riled up and made me so upset, because this beef was so incredible for not just me as a music listener, but for the channel. Like, it grew my channel a good amount, even though I'm still like just under 200 subscribers. But man, like, that moment was big for the community, and we could have kept building on that, and we could have turned it into something truly, truly awesome and truly special. But now we have taken it down the road of absolutely despising Drake. And it gets to a point too where Drake has talked about having no friends in the industry, having beefs now with LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan, people that have been good friends and also loyal to the city that he grew up in. And it's very hard to see Drake as the victim when you're basically cutting off ties with all the friends that you have. It gets to a point where you say to yourself, you're cutting off all these people, maybe you're the problem. And Drake's not self-internalizing that. Drake is basically saying, everyone's out to get me, everyone's out to kill me in every way possible, but he never decides to look into himself and to really reflect, and is just like, am I doing something wrong? I don't see that throughout this entire thing. And sure, rap is about having the ego, showing that you're the best, but there has to come to a point where you have to say that you lost. And with these lawsuits and with these petitions, I don't know what to say anymore. It gets to a point where it just gets really sad, because this beef is so much fun. This was the most fun I've had with rap in like ages. And now it's getting to a point where it's getting absolutely ruined. I think this lawsuit definitely is trying to make Not Like Us not being performed at the Super Bowl. I think that's one of the primary intentions. But I don't think Drake realizes that it's not just going to stop at the Super Bowl, because we also have the Grammys coming up, and the possibility of Not Like Us winning multiple Grammys for being a diss track is just going to make Kendrick and Not Like Us grow to such a monumental stature that you're going to keep on losing. You're not going to stop this wave. And no matter how much you try, because you keep adding on to this wave where it gets so gargantuan and so just massive that when it comes crashing down, the career is going to be severely affected, and your legacy, like now, in my honest opinion, it's completely ruined. As a rapper, I don't even know if I would call Drake a rapper anymore at this point, considering all that has happened. But it's not just going to stop at the Super Bowl, man. You're going to have the Grammys to deal with. You may have the next Kendrick album you're going to have to deal with. All I wanted, bro, was just to drop music. Like, as I was saying at the beginning, if you would have waited 1 to 2 years and you would have dropped an album, sure, the Kendrick beef would have been looming over you for a while, but just like Scorpion, I feel like you could have came out of it the other side. But because now you're dedicating all of this time to a useless and damaging lawsuit, we may not get music for a long time. And if the music we're going to get is Wagwan Delilah's, if we're going to get 100 gigs, if we're going to get Fighting Irish freestyles, I may just be done with you at this point. Now I'm just kind of rambling at this point, so I'm going to end it here. But thank you very much for watching. Leave a like and comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the beef, even if you're a Kendrick fan or if you're a Drake fan. You're more than welcome to have a discourse there. As you can see, I'm very much on the side of Team Kendrick, but I feel like now it's in a bigger thing where I'm more for Team Hip-Hop at this point. It's basically Drake versus the world, and I think the world has the right decision. So, but leave your thoughts and your comments down below. May get a lot of love in the comments, may get a lot of people absolutely hating it, but that's totally cool. That's what rap discourse is about. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you for giving me the time. And Balloonerism review is coming up very soon. So I'll talk to you again very soon.